So you'll
Okay.
see you.
It is now 6:35. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I am Bob Rice, Chair of Planning, and this is Commissioner Lowenstein, Chair of Zoning. We have now combined planning and zoning meetings for those of you who haven't been to some of our previous meetings. I'll start out with the introductions of the two committees, and the question that I want you to respond to is, what are your childhood memories of this time of year, which includes spring equinox, Easter, and any other holidays that come about? And I'll start with myself. I grew up in a good Methodist family. We celebrated Easter with lots of candy.
Yes.
And my mother took great pride in creating these wonderful Easter baskets full of chocolate. And so my favorite memory is running around the house trying to find Easter baskets. And we'll go with planning first. So we'll go to Commissioner Bryson.
Woof. This time of year is the time of year where the seasons change and it rains, and I like to spend as much time as I can both indoors and outdoors, whichever the weather permits. That's kind of how
Likewise, I think for me it was being able to see out and play a little later because you had to be home before yes, I'm a big age, before the street lights came on. And so the fact that it was a lighter later was fun, and you always try to trick your parents into not making bed because it's still light outside. It's why are you forcing me to go to bed? So that's what I remember about the turning of the season.
Mine's a little later in life.
Would you introduce yourself, please?
Thank you. I'm Keith Wilburn, representing District 3 here on the commission. Mine's a little later. Cherry blossoms and elephants, and enjoying the spring weather and listening to folks play the harp, etc.
Mitchell Logan. This is my favorite memory this time of year. Very easy. It is. I grew up in syrup. And so being out there in the spring, boiling the sap, like sugar water in the air with family, that's better. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Lauren Davis, and I guess, I just really like spring. So just all my favorite memories of spring are just like that nice, like warm feeling, and then it drastically gets squashed by snow again. But just, just all my favorite memories have to deal with just the nice, like warmth that begins to happen in College. So. Elena Bickle, District 2 community member. Favorite memories of spring probably is spring break as a kid going somewhere. And we'd always go somewhere, even if it was down the street. We'd just go have a vacation at our house for a few days.
Good evening, Pamela Shields, District 2, a community member. And my favorite memory, I have to go with Commissioner Rice, is Easter. And Easter egg hunts and getting a new dress with ruffles, patent leather shoes. Bet you didn't know I like that kind of stuff.
Roy Lowenstein, zoning chair, District 4. As somebody who's like older, like the truth is, what I remember about like this time of the year when winter ended was like going out to play baseball. That was like, and like it would start with like, okay, it's warm enough to like not have a jacket and go out and have a camp.
Joe Weingart, community member, District 2. My favorite memories are being pretty young and my grandmother hiding the Easter eggs, and then also playing baseball with my neighbors. And then I guess now every spring when my cherry tree blossoms.
Yeah.
Candace Cleese is District 3 Commissioner, and I am the co-vice chair to the zoning committee. For me, spring is all about those first crocuses, right? It's like, they're so hardy, even when it snows, they'll come back, you'll see the purple or the white or the yellowy color, and it's just that, like, it's the hang on, it's on its way feel, right? The crocuses are like, we got you, it'll be okay, just hang on. So, yes.
Tony Lococo, zoning committee secretary, District 3 at large. My memories are walking to school in the morning when it was really cool with your sheer jacket on, and then dragging along with you after school because it was so hot out, right? And the days getting a little, play with my little Matchbox cars and the dirt mountain across the street.
Tobias Katz, Commissioner District 1. My favorite memory of springtime was my grandma would always come and visit around now, and we would always go to Franklin Park and look at the blooms and butterflies. She's no longer with us, but last week I took my mom to Franklin Park, and that was a nice way to do it.
All right, thank you. Are there any announcements either from planning or from zoning before we start the agenda? Hearing none, our the old business, the 1106 Cole Street, Rob Ellis, the developer, has to be withdrawn. They've gotten more feedback from the city in terms of, I believe, this project. So we won't be hearing it today. So under new business, the first property is 172 North 21st Street. And I believe Dave Perry is getting sent. It's the roads.
Yeah, this guy's there, what? That's right.
Dave, you need to get Miss Pam to bling the king for you.
You've got some great stuff over there. There's enough for everybody. We're in the middle there.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Perry, you are a veteran of this procedure. And you have 3 minutes to describe your project when we're ready.
Thank you. It might be 1 or 2 short. We can share it on. Thank you. Name is Dave Perry. I'm here on behalf of Blue Chip Homes. Blue Chip Homes is Lonnie Freeman. He's had many applications with the commission for single family and 2-unit buildings. This site is 172 North 21st. There was a single family home on a double lot. And zoning is R2F, permits single and 2-family dwellings. I'll draw your attention to a couple site photos. Top of the packet, the second page are the zoning variances for this application. This goes to the Board of Zoning Adjustment. Because the R2F district permits single and 2-family dwellings, Blue Chip proposes to split the double lot that the brick building is located on to build a new single-family dwelling. And the reason this is that there's a variance application on this, if you'll look at the site plan and see the jog around the projection on the south side of the existing house. We have to stay clear of that with the required side yard for the City of Columbus zoning code. And that changes slightly the platted lot. If that house was conforming in terms of yards, then this would just be an existing platted lot and would not need variance. So, the proposal is to build a new single-family dwelling, and a detached garage. The existing house will remain and be remodeled. And then I'll skip to page 3 of your packet. There's a rendering of the front of the building, of single family. And then page 4 is various elevation views. And page 5 is proposed materials. We were on the March Bronzeville meeting, and there was slight discussion about the porch of the new dwelling. It was shown in error by the architect at 5 feet wide. The request was to make it 6 feet wide, so it had been revised to 6 feet. And other than that, it was very much supported by Bronzeville. You want me to go through the zoning variances,
Yes,
or they're just?
yes, please, that would be helpful.
Okay. Zoning variances, you see this all the time. Look, number 1, 333205 area district lot width requirements to reduce lot width from 50 feet to 30 feet for both lots. And again, that's because we're splitting the existing double lot. The entire area is 30-foot lots as platted pre-1900. And the second variance is area district requirements. Again, since we're splitting the lot, if you recall, the R2F district requires a 6,000 square foot lot, which is very unusual for the Newark area. But since we're splitting this, that section is applicable. And so we're reducing lot area both from 6,000 to, as depicted, which is approximately 3,700 each.
Thank you. So there really is no variance for the particular bump out per se. It's just the area of a lot is less than, that's the variance you're asking for.
Based on the platted lot lines, the south wall of that bump out is right at the property line, or right at the platted lot line.
Oh,
So we are jogging around it to maintain the code required side yard on the existing house.
I see, okay. So you're really, yeah, got it. Any other questions from planning?
And for this, again,
Questions, Commissioner Owenstein?
I have any comments on zoning?
I do. I see that you're 3 feet where this bump out is. Do you have a distance from where the property line is in the house? Like from here to here or here to here? What that distance is by chance? I'm not curious.
South line of the bump out is at the current south line of the platted lot. That's why we have to jog around that.
No, I
So-
understand that. The distance between this major line and the side.
Well, it's to the main wall of the house, if that's,
Plus 2.67.
yeah,
So
to the main wall of the house, maybe 10 or 12 feet.
very good.
Any other questions? All right, any community comments on this project, please? No community comments. I will entertain a motion to approve the project.
Move Frost.
Frost, second.
Logan?
Okey-dokey. It has been moved and seconded, to approve the project. All those in favor of planning, raise your hand, please. That's 8. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Project passes. Thank you very much. And Commissioner Lowenstein, would you manage?
Sure, what's our, let's see, I did not look at the calendar, I'm supposed to do that.
It's all of it.
Is the site visit meeting
It is.
the second Thursday? Yeah, that would be, that's Thursday, that'd be the second one, okay. So the 5th, April 5th will be the site visit meeting. And it doesn't look like we have more than 2 or 3 projects, right? So there's
Yeah.
no need to start before 9 o'clock, so we'll do 9. 9 o'clock on the 5th. Patty, does that make sense to everyone?
You have the mailing cards at this meeting?
I'll take it. There you go. Go ahead.
You know the drill.
I do.
These, fill them out, like bring them back by, next Tuesday or so, is that the approved day? If you're not doing them tonight, we're doing, bring them back here, give them to him to Jabari, back to
Mr. Valier, either Friday or Monday?
Great, thank you so much, Mr. Trustee. Zoning services.
Oh, yeah.
And that's our first one. So it's nice and
Bless you.
Oh, all right, the next project was, let me put my glasses on, is, 589 Roads, and that is a project that has been withdrawn. I don't know, no?
No, 598.
Oh, I'm sorry, got the wrong project. So the next project is 598 Roads?
Why we're gonna go paper.
You wanna go paperless?
When are we like gonna?
Wow, I appreciate
that.
happening now.
It is happening now.
So why is he fanning out?
I'm not sure, because we have everything.
So,
Wait,
so I
what was-
printed this and then we got staff results back and we've already submitted for all the adjustments. So this is,
Oh, this is updated?
well, it would have been impossible for me to update it, because I was literally picking these up at the same time I received the staff results, so.
Oh,
So this is the preliminary, this is the initial one.
all right, you have 3 minutes, to present your project. When you're ready to start, I'll set the time.
Ready to start?
Go.
My name is Paul Civitello. This is in development construction. This is another one of our triplexes that we've all seen multiple times. The plan that you see here, we've already received the staff results and comments and have submitted those. And on the next time you see me, I'll have that all updated. I could probably go over those if you like. This is for a 3-family dwelling on a single-family lot. Standard setbacks are for parking. The light setbacks, lot width or square footage of the lots. And there are some comments that came from the city that I can read you as well.
I would like to hear those, because I actually read the email and I think they're important for us to understand.
So,
And so you have more than 3 minutes, because that's gonna take some time.
So, zoning staff comments and site plan updates, access easement or driveway change. Since there's no public alley to the east, access must either be provided, an access easement from the neighborhood parcel to the west, the variance for 20-foot maneuvering required. Alternatively, reposition the site for access from Rhodes Avenue. Plan shades, the site will shift closer to one side, maintaining a 6-foot side yard setback and create space for a new curb cut driveway with a turnaround and 3 parking spaces. For the platted setback adjustment, it requires 22-foot building setback. And we are adjusting that. The building will be shifted back 2 feet to comply with the required 22 feet. The initial plan had it at 20. Building footprint corrections. The stairwell footprint will be reflected on the updated site plan, and trash and AC pads moved to the north side. Layout revision, staff supports parking reduction, but requires better access since alley access is not available. Plan changed, parking layout will move behind the building with a turnaround area to allow maneuvering. Additional windows on east elevation. Let's see, plan request additional windows on east elevation to match the west elevation for design consistency. So the comments that were sent were that just is unlikely to be implemented as the east elevation contains bedrooms, limiting viable window placement. The applicant will discuss with planning staff. If they want, I'll have to look at the plan and see exactly where those windows would be placed to make it equal.
Yeah,
I think that'd be the only issue. On the Mount Vernon one we had, they wanted us to eliminate windows because it was like in a restroom. And now they're just gonna add more windows, which I don't, either way, we just can't make it inconvenient for people that live there,
Yeah.
generally. And it's not like a perfect mix, one side's in there. But, well, I will look into that for sure.
Because in what I read in the email today, I didn't quite understand the response that, you didn't want to put bedroom, windows because they were bedrooms, and that didn't quite make sense to me.
In order to keep fire and safety, we add, that they're considered a form of egress, but there's only so many places we can put those. They're pretty large windows, they're 3 by 5 foot windows, and, you can't put them to the back because you have stairwell there. You can't put them, on certain sides, depending on where they're at. It won't be an exact match from one side to the next. The bedrooms in different placements. One side you have a restroom and a kitchen, the other side you don't, you have a living room, but the way that the plans were designed so that you can be in the kitchen, you have a blank wall that you can hang a TV. All the units have the, outlet for a TV to be hung on the wall. And if you start kind of cutting into that, you're really limited to like functionality of the place.
Any other planning questions?
I've got one. So based on what I'm having a hard time understanding, if you don't mind, the city comments, were there any other considerations that you had to take into account when putting this building here? Because like you said, we've seen these buildings before, they look great, thank you for building them. But what kind of differences did you have to account for when it?
So we did something similar on a way smaller lot with Fulton Avenue, right? And this lot actually kind of accommodates it better with driving down the side, having more of a side setback. The other one that we did off of, that we're about to break ground on Fulton, it's completely on the parcel. It's on the property line, and there's just enough space on the right-hand side to get past. And I think that when the architect drew this up originally, that wasn't in consideration. They thought that there was because of the commercial property that's behind it or industrial, it seemed like that was an alleyway, but it's not. So
if you want to access that,
correct. So I think that was most of their concerns was, this is an alleyway, and how are you going to access this parking? So those changes needed to be addressed.
So if I can just ask, is the plan to address those changes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not, we want to work with everybody, so if something needs to be changed, we're changing.
I noticed that the driveway that you're putting in is now, you've expanded it by a foot, if I remember
that came through in what I read today.
Let's see here. Design. I don't see where it's a driveway, but we want to create. It's bigger than the possible.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Address that?
right.
So in the picture, is this the same curb cut that already exists that you are proposing here, or will you be expanding that to match?
I think it's the parcel on the right. I think that parcel right now it has a new construction home that was just built.
Over here.
Multiple actually, so.
This side, but
And I think that
this
curb
your
cut
empty lot.
is, I think that curb cut right now that you see there is for the other house.
Okay.
So
You all are, because this is the, oh, this is the. This took me way out of, okay, hold on, there's, so the lot that you're doing is this lot here, correct?
correct.
So are you putting a driveway here?
More than likely, we'll probably put it at the right-hand side. Yeah. Trying to conform to what we're doing on other ones, you know, it makes it a little bit easier when we're sticking to the same plan,
Right.
being repetitive.
Any other planning questions?
On behalf of our Commissioner Chris, what kind of materials are you using for the driveway?
So everybody wants me to use blacktop on the construction and on the development side, because it's supposedly cheaper. But we live in Ohio. It is not cheaper to get blacktop, and I try to explain that to people that don't live here, you know, that are funding some of these operations. And it is very expensive to get blacktop here in the wintertime. My guys that work with me every single day, we do concrete, so, and we'll figure it out. I like to pour concrete. That's what I've done my whole life. That's what we do. So if I tell my guys that we gotta figure out how to do blacktop, they're fighting me on it, so.
Would you consider permeable?
In which aspect? What is permeable, like stone?
It is.
Yeah. No,
It is a stone that's better for the environment.
I would not be able.
Better for draining.
It would, stone costs me about $25 to $28 a square foot to put down, and it's not feasible on what we're spending price per acre
Yeah.
and to build these things. Yeah.
Is there a way to, you're the expert on concrete, so I'll lean on you. Is there a way to make the concrete you play maybe permeable for the area? Is it best to lay a complete slab over there or whatever you have to do with it? Do you think there's a way to make it much more permeable?
So you're saying like better drainage or?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when it comes to driveways, cities are very particular. There is a code for how you're supposed to the degree and how we're supposed to lay them. And especially with a curb cut, like that's an inspected, you know, the city, I can't just put whatever there. They're gonna want, and then they come back and they literally have like a digital laser that they will like make sure my degrees are perfect. So,
Well, thank you for that. 'Cause
yeah,
I think-
but it will run away from the house, the water, and it will be at their slope degree that they request you to put it in.
So there is an example at Broad and Woodland, the white house across from Park Towers. Theirs is concrete, but it is, it's got all patches and grass that are growing up out of it. And
Yes.
so, and I don't know the name of it, but it would classify as permeable.
I see what you're saying. You know, I have not done that, and I don't personally. I don't, and I wouldn't be the one that'd be in charge of maintaining that. You know, so I don't know what they, you know, we are obviously dealing with some increases, like lumber and siding. You know, I get emailed every day. We're 25% higher on lumber products. You know, I have a 5 to 18% increase on siding, and then so
So
you know, so like prices are going up, and we're you know, how to do the most economical.
So what we'll do is we'll educate ourselves on the variable papers. My last question would be, if there is new information in that space, we can still pour concrete is improvable. If you have any of that information, you bring it back to us, I think that would be helpful. But we will do our own kind of like education.
Casey will be here next time, and he'll know.
So the plans that we have in front of us don't have a driveway on it, so there's, I mean, how much more change do you foresee within this? You know, with you presented. So, just trying to understand, do you think this is something that is fairly nailed down and that by the site visit, and by the general body, you'll have updated documentation that will show a driveway and things like that?
Yeah, we'll have the driveways, it'll, you know, more than likely it'll be on the right-hand side. We'll shift the structure over. The structure itself will not change. And the parking will be in the back with the ability to have a turnaround area. So like some of the green space in the back might be eliminated because of that. Obviously some of the green space on the right would also be eliminated.
Sure.
Other than that, it's the same structure.
Based on building that driveway?
I think it addresses it in these staff results that I kind of just read, and I don't know if it would be any additional variances.
I didn't notice any additional variances when I reviewed this afternoon. But we'll tack that down.
There's one in there.
Oh,
It's a
thank you.
variance for the, maneuvering requirement. It looks like they're gonna ask for it in Bullshit Law. But that's the only one I see in here. Everything else is.
Right. Did you catch that?
That there is gonna be a variance for the,
I guess the turnaround is the maneuverability.
That's the only one. Everything else they've already addressed.
Yes. Mhm. Yes.
Just a quick, and you might have already said this, but I'm just trying to get some clarity on it. So when you shift it, how far are you shifting it over for the driveway? Like, how close will it be to the new build that is being built?
it's already built.
It's already there.
It's already.
This picture, yeah, this is.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just closer to the lot line, but there's still, let's see here. So it's gonna be a 10-foot driveway. It's on the right, and they're sit on here that we're moving the structure. So it's gonna move it over. 6-foot curve cut. We just turn around and leave by the spaces. So I don't know exactly what's being. Put it on here. We would, we would want to, so it has 10 foot on each side right now. And we'd like to keep a walkway for the person, because the way that the plan is, there is the front door.
Yes.
So we would obviously want to keep a sidewalk for them to walk to their unit from the back. So a few feet, 3 feet, possibly go over, and that's about it.
I guess my greatest concern is, I'm unsure of how big the house is that was built. Does anyone know?
It's a decent sized house. I mean, it's a front load garage. It doesn't really.
Well, I just didn't like, if your building moved over, if it was gonna be like, feeling like it was.
They sold us the lot, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if I don't think it's a pretty decent sized lot compared to what we've built on in the past, so
Gotcha.
significantly bigger.
That's what it's saving, then
There you have room to move.
Relatively
Yeah.
wide lot, and they can move it.
Any other planning, questions or comments?
Yeah, I think, I know this is a favorite topic, so I won't beat a dead horse, but I think there is an option for pervious concrete out there. I know that installation costs are higher on that. Cost of materials lower, because you have less material. Just look into it, I'm not gonna hang on.
For sure. I mean, I'm always, trust me. I mean, I gotta wait, I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning, always researching everything, like I'm always planning and always trying to figure out different avenues. With the weather changing, I've been completely swamped, so been less researching and more, get to it. So, but I'm always looking for new and different things, And if I don't really know it, I can do myself in that, figure it out.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You build a good project.
Thank you. Commissioner Wallace?
I have no questions, anyone?
So a couple things, I just wanted to mention again, like the other two commissions have, about the permeable and the zinc, but broad and woodland. Also, small little detail, but not really. Going forward, can Mr. Ellis change the chair of NEAC to who it actually is now?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
The former chair, Kate Curry, is suicide is no longer chair.
Quick question, and this is not really specific to this project, but you were talking about the increased, material costs, which I'm intimately aware with, but, do you have any idea in terms of how close you're getting to the point where some of these deals might not pencil out anymore? You guys have a lot of property that you're looking at in our area, and I have to believe that there's going to be eventually, if it continues to rise, a point where it doesn't necessarily make sense. Are we close to that, or we're not close to that?
So, I've done this for a long time, and my experience is that you learn to kind of take on the adjustments, and things tend to work their way out towards the end, right? The goal is to finish projects. If you start something, you finish it. Where I see people get hurt and fail is they get scared and then they're not sure what to do. I have a lot of guys that are men and women that are that, that's my focus, right? Is to make sure that everybody take care of their families and, luckily enough, I've been able to get through a bunch of different waves over the years. So I'm not really too worried about it. One way or another, it'll work out. Interest rates will either go down, property values will go up. Materials tend to work their way out,
It's usually when it's the investment group that's getting a little squidgy on you, that's where, things tend to get shelved. So that's why I was asking the question. We wanna continue to have a good partnership between you and Mr. Ellis, and understanding that, we know that is a possibility that at some point it doesn't make sense. So that was why I was just opening up the dialogue for if we need to have that conversation in the future.
Yeah, and we have other options, right? So, we're building these for other people, but there's nothing to say that I can't build this for myself. So, I'm actually working on a project. It's coming up off of Mount Vernon, and it's my personal one. So, there are people that are beating down the door and want to fund us no matter what. So, I don't see it slowing us up in any form or fashion. Yeah.
Anyone else on the building? Right, back to you.
All right, any community comments on this project?
Question, these are rental units?
So yeah, more than likely they would be, or, there are some people that have shown interest where they'll live in one and rent the other two out to try to subsidize costs for their mortgages. But generally, yeah, because it is a multifamily. I mean, I could probably benefit from it, I got so many kids, you know, so.
So you have an option, so it could be a multi-family rental, or you
Somebody would probably,
could
they're
conceivably
more
buy
like,
it and then rent them out themselves.
correct, and live there, so. But they're generally, yeah, units like this would be,
Did you not say anything in the city about, it's a nice little circular area about maybe some additional street lighting? It's
they,
Yeah.
that, when it comes to street lighting, I think it's more on the city's behalf, not on mine.
No, I
Or
don't
is
mean
it-
you, I
I'm
don't
saying
know what to do.
from
I'm
the-
just-
Yeah, I haven't
Just-
heard anything from that, and to be completely honest, I haven't, you know, this is such a beginning, I don't really get my hands
Okay.
tied into it till I know that it's something that we can actually do, so, that we can get approved.
So how does that work? If you were going to do some lighting with this, do you work with the city somehow?
So we provide lighting for the unit,
Yeah. I
you know, for safety purposes on the side and on in the back of the property for parking.
Yeah.
But, you know, when it comes to the city, if there's like I know that in the past, if there's something like a light that's out or something like, you know, we can reach out and they usually tend to come out. I care of that, you know?
Well, I wasn't thinking that much about maintenance stuff to be a little upgrade area.
Yeah.
But I could ask.
Yeah. That would be, I wish I had that control, you know, but I don't think I do.
Okay.
You're an influencer.
Yeah, right.
You can influence things.
I can influence things, yeah. We're trying to influence for the best.
Any other, oh, yes.
Have you spoke with the South, assuming sort of in the South Indian neighborhood?
I have not yet, but we will. Where's their,
If I can help, yeah.
I think that.
oh, you were the South Main area?
Yeah.
So I think I had
Could we count this conversation as a representative
Okay.
talking with the South of Maine?
I thought maybe I went to the South. I go through so many of these dang meetings. I don't know which ones where's yours held at?
You didn't come to ours.
Okay, then I did it. I apologize, so.
Well, we'd like you to still come.
Yeah, well, I got enough going on here, so, are you, I have 3 houses off of Wagner Street, is that,
No, what you have right there would be interesting.
okay,
And we're very interested because forever for so long, nothing is happening there. Now there's 2 new bills there, and plus yours
yeah,
coming, and might be, and I didn't mean for you to put lights in, I'm just saying it might be an opportunity for us to say something.
say something,
Yeah.
most definitely, because it is a dark road. Only thing that really lights it up is the industrial space right behind it.
And yeah, it really does, it does need, but if you give me your card or something, I can.
I'll write my number down. Phone rings enough, but I'll give it to you. So, if somebody's calling me, it's not for, it's.
Well, I just
it's-
want a little few particulars, so if I make a request in the city, I can say,
Most definitely,
yeah,
yeah.
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. Yes. Okay,
Chair,
yes.
may I make a follow-up question for one of Mr. Ellis's other projects?
Yes.
Where do you stand with the project on Greenway?
Well, we already have sewer in. We have so honestly, I could probably start it tomorrow. Rob was asking me about it, and I've actually already kind of started it. So in a way, I got the sewer connection done, like the water connection done. I have the site surveyed and the plot pinned. So I mean, I could start digging tomorrow potentially. Now, you know, once I start, I want it to not be raining. You know,
Yeah.
it just causes me headaches, which I have a lot of them right now. So but we're gonna start that one very soon, and then same as I think we're on the verge of submitting for permit on Mount Vernon, and we finally got everything passed, and Fulton will be the other one as well. So
Okay, I just was curious about Greenway because Woodland Park starts meeting again in April.
Yes.
Monday.
well, so you know, because I've been able to sit on those for a long time, and with some of the other single families that we developed and built, I was able to kind of work out kinks and issues with the city, and I think that it'll go up pretty quickly. I've gotten a lot of great feedback and figured out exactly how I wanted to do it. And, you know, something that's been a kind of a thorn in my side is these sewers, you know, they're 14 foot deep. You gotta tap in, you gotta cut into the alleyways, and I mean, it's very expensive, and not like something I can just, you know, I don't have a machine that easily, safely digs 14 foot deep, you know? And then being wintertime, you're paying extra for flash fill and, blacktop patching, you know, but we got that hard part is kind of out of my hair, so to say. But we started already, so.
All right, any other community comments before we move along? All right, I'll, like a motion to approve the project.
Move Benson.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second, Frost.
There's a second. The motion to approve has been moved and seconded. All those in favor, raise your hand, please. Looks like we have 8 again. Any, no, there's no opposed, no abstentions. It passes.
Awesome. Thank you.
So, here are your cards, 9/20, April the 5th.
9/20.
9/20. Seems like the other one's gonna take terribly long.
All right, the next project is 576 Fairwood Avenue.
Chair Rice, I believe this is District 3 on the agenda, but I don't believe it's within District 3.
I'm trying to make sure. So what district would you put it in?
I believe it's District 4.
Oh, District 4.
So Fairwood. Oh, yeah, Fairwood.
Right.
Yeah. Take a quick look.
Yeah, I thought it was on the west side of Wilson.
No, that is directly south of me. That is just.
Oh, really?
And that's it.
Mr. Mayor, you have 3 minutes to present your project. Could we please come to order?
Yeah. Did they have issues out that way? It's like
This site is 576 Fairwood Avenue.
Excuse me, could you take the conversation outside?
Yeah.
You're gonna want to.
576 Fairwood Avenue, the site is between Fulton and Mound. And we have council variance application CV 25021 pending. The site is zoned R3 from the 1974 Model Cities rezoning. There's lots of single-family, two-family, and other uses in the area. By this application, a variance is proposed to the R3 and a couple other variances that I'll go over. Variance proposed to the R3 to build a 2-unit building in the R3. You have photos, aerial photo, and ground photo of the site, we can come back to if you wish. And then you have a list of the variances, come back to. And then these exhibits, you have clipping on the site plan. Architect's site plan. Floor plans. And then rendering. Here you go to that building. And then the last page. So elevation is. So, application for variance to the R3 district is the number one variance to permit a 2-unit building in the R3. We have 4 units, or excuse me, 2 units, 4 required parking spaces. 3 are provided in a 2-car garage and a surface parking space. We have the usual variance to reduce lot width from 50 feet to the 37 feet existing. And then we have side yard variance. Total side yard is 20% of the lot width, 20% of 37 feet, so that's 7.4. And the house has been designed with 3-foot side yard, so it's reducing side yard from 7.4 total to 6 feet. 3 feet's pretty typical for the area. So, yeah.
Thank you. Any questions from planning? Commissioner Benson.
Couple questions. Is this being built with a basement or on a slab?
Basement.
That's basement on page 11.
Basement.
Okay, perfect. And then, this is more of an observation, but also still a question. For this neighborhood, I live just up the street from it. One of the things that I've noticed walking down our neighborhood is that many of the buildings have 3rd stories and 3rd stories livable area. It seems like it may be traditional neighborhood. I'm not a historian, so I can't be sure. I just wanted to understand if there's any reason a lot of the newer builds don't tend to use the 3rd story. And if you could give us maybe a little bit of information on maybe you didn't choose to use a 3rd story, or in general, if you know why folks.
I don't know that I know specifically, but I would say probably construction.
Can I address that? The City of Columbus code for 3rd floor, that's why, City of Columbus has a code that, limits heights to 35 feet. Anything above that requires a fire escape if it's used for living space.
Okay. That's good to know. Thank you.
Many,
And that may be a big, yeah.
that is the case if it's a full 3rd story, but many of them are designed with a half story. 2.5 does not require that. In this case, I would say it's just total square footage and the cost of this.
Thank you.
Any other planning questions? Hearing none, Commissioner Wallenstein.
This seems like a pretty cut and dry double, pretty close to the lot lines, but we've approved setbacks before. There's nothing really, it seems to line up pretty well with the other buildings on the, so it seems pretty routine. It'd be nice to develop that land to be block to the north of it. Huh?
Great, I don't know.
Yeah. So
honestly, I don't know why that hasn't been picked up already.
We can't make you do that, but it would be nice, I'm just saying, to build that out also, but, in any case, no, I don't have anybody on zoning.
I have one. So I mean, it's a question that has come up many times. And it's not particularly a zoning question. This is just me, because I love history, I love being able to sit on my porch. And your porches are very small, like, it looks like you can't even understand nothing. Is there any way that maybe possibly could expand those a little more?
64 square feet is approximately 8 by 8.
Because just from the renderings, they look fairly small.
Really do.
It'd be nicer to run that one more across the whole front than, I know you have a recess in the building.
The more forward unit?
Yeah, the more forward unit, and we might. It's a suggestion.
Yeah, I'm happy to bring it up. Carrick Sherrill is the architect on
Yeah.
this, and
Carrick knows well, we like
yeah,
spaces for people to be able to sit out and have eyes on the street.
That's
talk
right.
to So forth.
Yeah.
Square footage wise, this is pretty good. 8 by 8.
Yeah.
The 6 feet deep by wider could get to the same square footage. So we'll see.
It'd be nice if there was clearly space for a couple people to sit out on each of those porches.
At least two.
Anyway, just take another, absolutely take another.
Take a look at that, sure.
That's all.
Other than that, I have
It's a
no.
good point, thank you. Anyone else?
So for you, at the site meeting.
Just how we always recommend and suggest that you talk to the neighborhood groups, so.
This is in South of Maine,
Yes.
and Kathleen and I have talked on the fifth meeting.
Any community comments?
I like the design. I think it's got just a touch of modern. That it just doesn't look like a stable duplex. It's got a very, very nice piece design. Very
Any other comments? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve this project. Is there a motion to approve? Wilbur moves to approve. Is there- Wilbur and Mr. Vincent is seconded. All those in favor, please raise your hand. It looks like again it is 800. The motion passes.
So, comes to, April 5th meeting, and this one will be at 9:40. Is this?
All right, so as these are being collected, we have one graphics review for 700 East Long Street, better known as the deal.
Yep. Those are my labels.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take that. Go ahead, see.
No, I'm not giving you. It's not all done from in.
That's right.
This is all. If it wasn't so good. Yeah, you're right.
Yes,
All right, you're on in the spotlight, right?
Okay, well, we're here with the signage package for the Deal project.
Would you introduce yourself?
Oh, I'm Michael Kelly, a developer of the Deal project at 720 East Long Street. And the project is moving along nicely. We're hoping to have it completed at the end of this summer or early fall. So we're here with a signage package. And you'll see in this signage package a little bit of the branding that's starting to take shape. We plan to call this the Deal. And if any of you have been by it recently, you'll see it's almost fully sided. And once all the siding's on there, we'll start painting it. And it'll look, it should look very similar to what you see in the rendering here on page 3. Page 5 shows more precisely than the rendering how we plan to do the clocks. There will be 3 clocks, one on the south tower, or on the tower facing south, one on the tower facing west, and then one on the tower facing north, which is probably the least visible of the 3. Those will be functioning clocks that a company out of South Carolina is coming in to install and fabricate for us. Above that will be a halo lit sign that says the deal, and we're still finalizing the exact color, but it'll be kind of meant to blend in a little bit with the color of the building, but with the dimension of it, it'll have a shadow that I think will be visible during the day, and then at night through the halo lights. On page 6, you see a 6-foot canopy that will extend out into the right-of-way, kind of giving some presence to and identifying where the residential entry is. We're currently pursuing a right-of-way encroachment easement with the city to allow us to do that. You can see on the front face the deal, and we've got that little logo to the left, and you can. The thinking behind that was a little bit. It kind of looks like a musical note there, and that's, you know, Aaron Deal, who's the Deal family is our partner on this project. Aaron, of course, is a well-known and respected jazz musician, but his grandfather played jazz in the neighborhood. So we are trying to bring some of these elements out in the branding, but the other part of that, if you look in the negative space of that logo, you see a dove's beak and an eye. And that's kind of a reference to the dove that was on the funeral home logo. So, so on that next page, page 7, in the top right-hand corner, you see kind of a reference image, how we intend to construct that canopy with kind of a blade coming out at the top and the bottom. The bottom one will tuck in a LED strip, so we provide some gentle uplighting to the face of the canopy. Same with on the sides, the east and west side of that. That's just a 6-foot. It's not as big, so we could only fit the logo there, but that'll also be uplit in be kind of a nice brass sign with a little bit of dimension, and then will be uplit from below. Page 8 shows how that south facade of the building will look from Long Street, and then also a plan view. The highlighting shows that canopy. That will be the residential entry into the lobby. To the right of that is the 26, just over 2,600 square feet of commercial space. We're still trying to figure out what will be going in there, but we're showing just some, as a placeholder, some signage options there, just in the event that it moves forward and we've hit the mark with the signage, then we wouldn't need to come all the way back through the process. But if we have to change something, or if the tenant has a different viewpoint, we'll just need to come back to you all. Okay, so the page 10, now we're looking at the west facade. You can see that terrace in the middle. That'll be one of the bigger amenity spaces inside the building. This is 89 units. Right at the front there, it's not pictured here. I mean, you can kind of see, I guess, those bold lines, or I guess that may be showing like a trellis there, but there will be a bar set up right there at the kind of edge of the building, and we do hope to have more like public events up there, like maybe some live music or a certain thing on Thursdays where we want to bring not just tenants here, but have events for public to come in and interact with the building as well. And that's also the goal with the first floor commercial space. We'd love for that to be some sort of food and beverage, cafe, wine bar, something that really also creates some energy on Long Street. But this shows the same clock that you saw on the south facade, the same deal halo lit sign, and then this is a Bronzeville sign that we showed in our initial rendering, in that we are doing our best to try to to follow through on and have that kind of neon looking Bronzeville sign. We think that's, it's a prominent view facing downtown, and you can really see that as you drive east on Long Street. So that particular sign is quite expensive. So we're trying to get some other quotes but we would like to have it approved, and it may not be constructed right with everything else, but we would love to do it at some point soon. The next page gives a little more detail on that sign as it was detailed by Day Night Sign Company. Yeah. Page 15 is focusing on that kind of placeholder signage for the future tenant. You see they'd have an entry there at the corner of Long and Hamilton, and the building kind of cuts back on that first floor level, so there could be some patio space there. You can't really see it very well, but those would just be band signs. We don't intend to have any type of canopy like we do on the residential sign, but we do think it would be nice to have a blade sign that sticks out 45 degrees on the corner, so you could see that sign from Long Street and from Hamilton. There's two options here. One's just different styles, but one option's on page 16, and then the other option's more kind of the neon route on page 17. And you can see in that top right corner, there's that reference image. This is a restaurant in North Carolina that has done something like that, where it's on the 45-degree corner of the building, and we thought that looked neat. So we're kind of having two options approved and see if that hits the mark with our tenant. And then the final page is just a little more detail on the clock.
All right, well, I will say that your signage have made this a very exciting project. I love the inclusion of the clocks.
Oh, yeah, that was tough.
I had 13 in my house, so. I like clocks.
Okay, well, yeah, I was worried. What they tell me is these clocks they automatically adjust for daylight savings, and there's a controller in there.
They blow you away with that one.
I was worried that I have to climb up there every time.
Yeah, I'm sure you would be.
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner Biffle.
I think this is great. If I had to like add something on 16, having the future tenant signs there, just from walkability and drivability, you've got a lot more angles versus kind of straight on seeing that commercial space. So I think the tenants, whoever the future tenants are, would really appreciate having that well-lit signage there. The only thing is specifically where that is on Long Street, there's a lot of light. There's like a lot of bright light from the theater. I think like Adelphi's right there. There's a brand new building, so it'll be interesting to see how exploratory you can get with the colors of that. But I really do prefer this for somebody in a car, someone who's walking, someone on their bike. I think that would invite them in more versus just the flat name on the.
Okay, you're looking at page 16, you said?
16.
Okay.
Yeah.
So something like that sticks out.
Yeah, I think that's a great call, just from the usability of people who are in the neighborhood who may not just be looking dead on.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
If I may tack on to that, I feel like your design option on 17, the rectangular, that kind of, I feel like that would flow more with the building.
I agree.
And that would be just a stronger design choice.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I agree.
Go ahead.
Chairman, speaking.
Yes.
Mine is more of a comment, friendly, kind comment. Change the colors for the holidays. Red, 4th of July.
Okay, which color,
For the future tenant.
Oh, the signage.
Yeah, the signage, I mean.
Okay.
The light.
That LED strip.
Like the Levette Towers, how they do
Well, so that's, yeah, and there's actually, it's not really, although,
Sorry.
maybe if you look on page 17, you can kind of see, there is a fair amount of architectural lighting on this building.
Yeah.
Like you can see the first floor, there's those sconces.
Yes.
And then if you just go right above that, you see those uplights that are putting light up and grazing those pilasters there. So that would actually, if we could figure out a way to make those change color, that,
It's beautiful.
yeah. Okay.
Highest regard.
I just wanted to say thank you for coming today and giving us this review, right?
Yeah.
We wouldn't have maybe known what it was gonna look like as a quarter, so
Oh.
really much appreciated to be able to see this. Just watching at home or else about it, we can give you this information. The only piece I have is question and a comment, we don't understand that. You mentioned that some of the preferences is to have retail in the bottom building. There are some historical retail, specifically coffee shops just around the corner from you. So it seems like you all are here to engage the community, learn about what's going on, pay homage to the community. That cafe that's around the corner, have you all had conversations with those folks to see like the diversity of options? I know you can't choose your tenants, right? Not necessarily, but are you having some of those conversations there? Have you had some of those conversations and invite those folks to come talk to you in other avenues?
Are you talking about the Lincoln Cafe?
Yes.
Okay. No, I go over there and it's closed a lot.
Yes.
And I can't get a sense, maybe I need to be more persistent to find out who, I don't know the operator, but I can't tell, is it closed or is it open?
I want to say it's still open, but the hours are very.
Yeah.
So I think if you are doing any conceptual reviews at your neighborhood association, you may have already hit Bronzeville, I don't know.
Yes, we did.
Okay, perfect. Then hopefully someone there is connected with them or they're connected with them. I just wanted to make sure they had an opportunity to be in this process since you all are so like forthcoming. It's really appreciating to see that. I just don't want to hear later, we didn't know what was happening. It's like, you live right there.
Yeah.
That's a good point you brought up.
But other than that, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me add one thing. This is on the agenda as a conceptual review, but this is an actual application to the city to the Graphics Commission for what's called graphics plan. My understanding from Commissioner Lowenstein is that this will not be scheduled on the on-site meeting, but will go to the full commission for vote. So this is an actual application to the Graphics Commission for what's called a graphics plan. The plan is what you guys described.
Thank you.
Yes. Who's next?
If you don't mind, I just have a question about the property in general. You all obviously develop a lot of properties. I've seen this fair amount around town. I'm really excited for this property in particular, this development. I do have a question though as to what, if you've selected a management company yet? And the reason that I ask is, the Kelly Companies is not, Metropolitan Holdings, but we've seen Metropolitan Holdings develop quite a bit in the neighborhood and integrated company, and they decided that they do not want to manage in the area longer. And so I just wasn't sure. We've seen a few different management companies moving to the company. I'm sure being selected company for this property and being a preferred provider.
Well, so the projects that I've done, starting with Hotel St. Clair and then Parkwood and then Shiloh, which is the Luminary, and now this will be the fourth. They've all been really starting with Hotel St. Clair. We self-managed that, but it was almost by necessity because to make that project work, we just couldn't afford to bring in a third-party manager. And I actually tried that for 8 months, and the tenant experience was much less. That they charge a lot more and are less responsive, and so we did away with that. And ever since then, we've been self-managing. What that means is, and actually, I would never go back because I think we're able to do things and give the tenants an experience that you just can't do when you have a third party. But like my uncle is a retired history teacher. He moved here from California in his retirement, and he lives in a unit at the Shiloh, and he shows many of these units. And my wife was a social worker, and she quit her job and now helps with our management. And so this is what we do, including this project, will be all self-managed. And I think that does allow us to be much more responsive and do projects like this that have very thin margins as it is. So the good news is like Hotel St. Clair, I knew every tenant in there. Now it's more my wife. She'll know, and if someone calls or if there's an emergency, it goes right to us. So the good news is we can be responsive, and I think so if any of you ever have an issue, and I will be able to address it immediately because we're managing. The downside is it's not scalable. So I probably these are 4 projects. I probably can't do a 5th and operate it like this. So but yeah, that's our plan is to continue to self-manage. We're hiring, we're gonna bring on a young lady from Ohio State who's graduating, who's been interning with us. And so we'll grow our team. So I guess it's scalable in that way, but we live, right down the street from this project, so that helps as well. Yeah.
Who else had a question?
It was me, but it was more of a comment, and I just appreciate the font choice.
Yes.
It's something so simple, you think it's something so simple, but I do instructional, design accessibility for during the day, and so I really appreciate the font choice and the colors. The colors specifically, but the font choice is very, very smart, so I don't know if the designer picked those 2 font choices, but they're really great choices from an accessible standpoint.
Thank you. Mint Design is who we work with, graphic designer Jen Stevens, and she's done a great job. But we spent a lot of time on this, and actually the interior designer on this project is a friend of Aaron's who lives in New York City. So we had her come in. We had a meeting with the family and did different brand directions. And so thank you. Everyone really kind of put their heads together for this brand. So
No, the logo is the swan.
yeah, that was good. Thank you.
Any comments from zoning?
I just wanna say, I'm in love with this project. If I didn't love my house, I'm sorry. It gives me a historic vibe of
Yes.
New York City, Chicago, San Francisco, and I just feel a person.
That's right.
The design architect was David Maleka.
Of course.
He's now with Moody Nolan. Yes, and we keep going back to with the clock. There was all these different. We went back to David to say what should the clock look like, and he actually hand drew exactly. Same with just other things. We keep going back to David, but
He's very talented.
yeah,
He's a designer.
Yes.
Even with what Miss Pam said about changing the colors like Quebec Tower does, even OSU East Hospital does the same thing,
Yes, they do.
autism awareness, Valentine's Day, Christmas, Halloween, it's a holiday, they're changing the colors.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a competition.
I'll look into that. It should be possible. Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Especially with it being right there, a prominence towards downtown and the freeway.
Yeah.
We get spectators on 71,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any community comments?
It's beautiful.
Yes.
1930s.
Yes, yes.
That's David's style.
I would, if there are no other comments, I would like to, motion to approve the graphic design application, please.
Just a quick, did
Yes.
you talk with the Neighborhood Association
Yes.
committee? Could you just share a brief summary that
We were at the March meeting with Bronzeville and we were very happy, similar comments.
I move to approve Wilbur.
Second, Benson.
It's been moved and seconded to approve this application. All those in favor, raise your hand, please. Another 8. All right.
say, the guys have to buy a tuxedo now.
The motion is approved. You'll be presenting at the general body meeting in April. I would assume that there is no secretary for the commission, so Dr. Harris will probably alert you about the agenda.
It's in my camera, look it up also.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
So we are done. Now we have 2 demolition applications. First one on the agenda is for, 1589 Granville Street.
I ask if you want the packets, that's fine. If you don't, I'll reuse them.
Yes, please reuse them. So there is no one here from 1589 Granville. We'll go ahead and table that. We also have a demolition application from 1415 Oak Street.
What's the street?
1415 Oak Street.
Thank you.
And the other was 1589 Granville Street.
Yeah.
I feel bad, I'm the odd duck.
All right, if there, I would like to go ahead and adjourn the planning and zoning meeting, but I'd like for the planning committee to stay just for a quick conversation. Okay, so do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Wilbur.
Second, Benson.
And by unanimous consent, we are adjourned.
At 7:58.
Picture.
Okay, planning committee.
Yes.
I need your t-shirt size. I sent you an email. Dr. Harris is breathing down my neck for your t-shirt. Say it again.
Give me 1 second.
I maybe minutes. I'll write it down.
Okay. So,